You guys will start. I'm going to say 3, 2,
Karla, start us off.
1.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another live edition of Grace Company.
Yeah.
We're excited to have everybody.
Yeah, we are. We're very excited to have you here today and to introduce you to our cutting products.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Sure.
and to remind you to sign up to win for
Absolutely.
our fabulous fall festival.
And then my name is Mark Martin, and
Karla Jerome here. Yeah.
nice. And we also have Nathan. Nathan's behind the camera. Let's get to Nathan. There he is. Fantastic. And you're right, with the cutting system, it is an easier, safer, and more accurate cutting system. We'll get that to you a little later. So let's get over to Nathan.
Well, there we go. Hey, there, are we good to go? Can anybody hear me? I don't know. Hope so, because I don't know how we've got mysterious muting going on, but I'm hoping we're there because I will start back over here with part of the Fantastic Fall Festival. So let's throw a quick shout out. Hope everybody can hear me. Hear me here? Not quite sure. Hopefully,
Emojis work well.
Emoji works well. Throw an emoji. Let's throw something out there. We're gonna, yeah. Thank you. So sorry about that. We're gonna go back here, and I'm gonna pull this back up with everybody here being part of it. Mentioning, talking about the Fantastic Fall Festival that we have. We announced this and launched this last Tuesday. We're going to continue to talk about this every Tuesday. We do some product reviews. Last week we mentioned we were going to have a giveaway for those people that were registered for the event. Again, we appreciate it. Coming in for your chance to win. Now, it's not only the things we're going to show you today, but we have over 3,000 of goods, and one of those top very last day, we're going to be doing a full system with a 19, a continuum frame, lighting system, automation, and then we have a lot of things in between there as well, hoop frames and other combinations as well. So with that, I wanted to go ahead and bring up what we are giving away today at the first. This is what we're looking to give away, and this is the TrueCut, and we're going to do a brief demonstration with Mark and Karla on this today. And the other part of it was our finesse thread, and I upped the ante a little bit on this because what we were able to do is we were going to do a 4-pack, and I did 2 4-packs. So what we're looking at doing is a 4-pack of solids and a 4-pack of the variegateds in order to make that an available piece out there for any of those sewers or quilters. So we're really excited about doing this as a giveaway. With that, let me kind of bring Mark and Karla back up on here again. I know, Mark, you were pretty excited. Karla, you were excited about part of the gifts that we're giving away this week. Do you have any quick thoughts?
Love the sharpener, love the thread, but you know I love all of our products. If you haven't heard me talk about them, so they're like kids. They're all very personal to me as a quilter. So yeah, I'm very excited to share them with you. So sign up to win these free prizes. Yeah, so let's introduce the winner.
All right.
All right. So the winner that we have,
Let me pull this over here. And then these aren't the threads, but we're going to put those over there too. So anyway, we've got our confetti. Go for it.
all right. And the winner that we selected as a pre-registrant is Penny Morrison.
Oh, yay! Yay!
She is one of the pre-registrants who was again randomly drawn, and we'll be getting in contact with her again to share with her part of the pack that she's won with what that was. I know, Mark, you had a little bit of some hooray for her there too, I guess.
Woo! Yes. Well, Mark had his confetti. I had mine.
So some confetti with all of that.
I was
So,
trying to keep mine contained.
What a fantastic prize.
so with that, let me go ahead and bring on screen for everybody on the Grace Frame website. I want to go ahead and let you kind of look at this. I'm going to share my screen here, and I want to let you kind of see that with Grace Company, there are a couple things. I'm just going to quickly pull up our main website here, and I'm going to it's going to take a second here to go to part of the registration page. But up top on our main site is the banner for our fall festival. And when you click on this banner, this is going to take you into the registration page. And inside that registration page is a chance to sign up. And there's also another bit that I want to show you. And you'll notice right below the pre-register, it says submit your quilt. And so I want to just quickly show you what this submit your quilt is going to allow you to do. And what we're looking to do is do a little bit of kind of a quilt show. So a quilt show and tell, and we have a whole bunch of different categories. And so I'm going to refer you to the website to look at more information and details. But one of the things I did want to bring up was part of the categories, because I was really concerned when we said, hey, let's do part of a quilt show. I was not, I know when we do a piece of work or when I do something, I've finished a few quilts, I don't know if I want somebody critiquing everything that I've done. And I thought, no, let's just make this open. Let's make this a fun option for everybody to submit a quilt. And by the way, you're also selecting part of this. It's going to be through your likes and through your submissions. You'll be able to see that we have like the Hall of Shame. So is there an unfinished project that you've maybe had for way too long and you're just wishing you could have been able to get that through? Submit that. You're going to see categories like made from scrap. So what are different type of scrap quilts? Holiday quilts is another one. We're looking at the surprise or the oops. Maybe it didn't turn out the way you did. I know, Karla, if I were to ask you, I know that sometimes they grow with borders and they change a little bit as part of the design goes on. So
you spend a long time unpicking.
So what are part of those? We talk about the blood, sweat, and tears, and maybe what's been your hardest quilt, and wild imagination. So we're really looking for all sorts of categories in which we're going to be letting you, the quilters, be selecting in those categories your favorites, and that is how the winners will be selected with some prizes that we're going to be doing. And then again, everybody who does enter, we're also going to put those names into a drawing as well for an overall prize for everybody for participating. So I did want to show again that piece of it, and then going back to the main registration page, that those are two things we're going to encourage you to continue to do. Before we get too far again, let me go ahead and I'm going to show Mark, and I wanted to go ahead and have Karla quickly look at part of what is going to happen next week. And so here on the screen, one of the things that you can see is we have, and we're giving away another TrueSharp 2, which is the electric sharpener. We're going to be giving away a My Comfort Cutter, which is our ergonomic cutter, and a 5-pack of blades as part of what we'll be doing in next week's. And you'll notice that these packages continue to build as we go and get closer to the giveaway. With that, Karla and Mark, let me go ahead and turn the time over to you. Why don't you go ahead and share with everybody a little bit more about the TrueCut system and introduce us to the different pieces and parts and how it works and how it functions. So that'd be great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And these are exciting products.
Yes, they're fabulous tools to allow you to keep quilting if you have problems with your hands. And they're also tools to help you save money and to keep you straight and accurate. And they're just fabulous tools. As a quilter, I love them. So,
well, with that, we have a lot to show.
yes,
Let's first talk about TrueCut, Karla. TrueCut's not really known. Grace Company,
right.
We're well known. TrueCut, these products have been on the market for over 10 years, and they offer a much different way of quilting. And I mean different because it is easier.
Mm-hmm.
this process, it does make it safer and you're
Right.
more accurate with the tools and the features that we are going to show you. So with that, we have a whole product line. We have
Right.
our rulers, we have sharpeners, we have blades, cutters, mats, non-slip pads, and we're going to go over each one of those.
Right.
To go over
And
the
they all work
differences.
together to make one fabulous system. So yeah, you could buy them individually, but the goal is to have you purchase them together so that it just helps you overall with your quilting.
Absolutely. Well, let's start.
Okay.
And let's start. Let's look at our cutters.
Right.
We do have our ergonomic cutter and our straight cutter.
Right.
Now, a lot of customers who see the ergonomic cutter, they probably all these thoughts will go through their mind. It's not something that
What
looks
is it?
normal. What is it? Can I even use it?
Right.
Looks weird. And I assure you that this is definitely the best ergonomic cutter that I've used.
Absolutely, hands down.
Yes. And we have our straight cutter.
Right,
And our
which
straight
is
cutters.
awesome as well because it's very comfortable. Not as comfortable, but it is very easy and comfortable to use.
So let's go ahead and put this one down and let's talk about our comfort cutter for now.
Okay.
Now our comfort cutter, why did we design it the way we did?
Well, it's actually easier to hold, number one, and it keeps your wrist from bending and it keeps the tension from off your wrist and your thumb, which is something that you use a lot of, those same tendons and same muscles consistently as a quilter, as you're quilting with your needle or you're binding. These are the muscles that you're consistently using, and this takes the strain off of them.
Absolutely. So let's look over how
Okay.
that happens, right? So Karla, you have your way of holding the
Yes,
cutter.
I do.
Now there are 3 different ways to hold this cutter, and there's not really a wrong way.
Well, there is. but-
Yeah, much like this, right?
Right.
Holding it this way can be because it really defeats the purpose of an ergonomic cutter because now you're
Or-
holding it with all the
Or
cutters.
like this. I have a sister that likes to hold it like this, and it's not as comfortable.
I guess whatever is best for you,
Right.
it can be held in different positions.
Yes.
All right, but let's go over probably the few that most people
Right.
would hold it. Let's start with you because I know you like to hold it different than I
Okay.
do.
So I like to hold it with my thumb over this. I just think it's easier for me. But like Mark said, there are different ways. And so when you're using a tool at home, we don't all use them the same way. So he's going to show you his way and why he likes that way.
Absolutely. I'm going to move the ruler out of here in my fabric. And so much like Karla, this way is what some will like to do.
Right.
And this way is what I like to do.
Mhm.
Now you can find what's best for you. We're not telling you one way or the other, so
Mhm.
it's best whatever fits in your hand. But I'm going to show you the reason why I like to do this. I'm going to kind of hold it, and you can see from the top view, my finger over the top, and there's enough plastic there that's very safe. Again, TrueCut is all about being easy, safe, and more accurate. We're
Right.
not going to do anything that's going to
Right.
have more harm, right? So right over the top of my finger. And what this does is now my thumb is off to the side and it's supporting the cutter. Same with my fingers, it's supporting the cutter. So I'm not squeezing it, what we call like white knuckles. And I'm not needing to squeeze it up top with my finger, what we call another white knuckle, as you can see there. All right, so as I go ahead and demonstrate this, I'm gonna show how nice and easy it is. Now, what I want you to look at is how straight my wrist is.
Right.
Okay, when most people cut, they bend the wrist down because that's where the blade is. We'll talk about the straight cutter here in a minute. But as you can imagine, a lot of people when they cut, they do this,
Right.
right?
They do. You are. When you're
Mhm.
using the straight cutter.
And they put the finger up top or they put the thumb up top. So let's go ahead and put my index finger right over the top there. And it keeps my wrist aligned straight.
Mhm.
These other fingers now are not gripping the cutter. So arthritis,
Right.
carpal tunnel,
Right.
ligaments,
Right.
just many issues, not only in the wrist, but also in the shoulder and the elbow.
Right.
Basically, your
Back
entire
of the
arm.
shoulders, you always feel it as a quilter because
Yeah.
you tense up as you're cutting, as you're quilting.
Yes, the entire
Right.
cutting.
We're just a bad case or easy case for a chiropractor. So
There you go. So with this, as you're going to see, I'm going to, now right there's a safety on the cutter. So you can see I'm going to pull this little tab up. And what that does is release the
Blade.
safety mechanism
Mhm.
from the blade. So now as I go to cut, I'm going to roll that. And as I'm rolling it, what's nice about this is the pressure comes from up above.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And that's why I like to hold it this way, is being able to hold it right up top using this way. This is good. Again, using your finger. But if I cut this way, I'm not using my fingers. I'm using the palm of my hand. Now,
Right.
this isn't safe, but I'm showing the demonstration as I go ahead and hold it this way.
And it uses
and
these
bring my
muscles
finger-
right here.
Yes, yes. Now as I roll it. Now, what's nice about this cutter, not only is it's ergonomic, but it can be left-handed or right-handed,
Right.
right? Out of the package, it comes right-handed. And it's quick and easy to make it a left. You just simply take the plastics off
Right.
to one side and move them over to the other side. And so now you have a left-handed cutter, and we have one right here actually. So you can see one left-handed and one is right-handed. Okay, so
Right.
that's nice with the ergonomic. You don't have to buy two in order to be
No.
left or right.
No.
All right. So again, now this way keeps it nice and everything uniform. My wrist is staying straight, and I'm not needing to bend it. Okay. Nathan, Karla has some thoughts. Let's bring him in and let's see what he. There he is.
Hey, again, I just thought, Mark, maybe I could throw out a couple of things too. I was watching the monitor trying to look at the ergonomic, and I know we were doing a camera shot from the top. Maybe if we can look at that camera like we have it now in front of you. Karla, why don't you kind of walk through and maybe put it in your hand and show them how you prefer to hold it. And then Mark, you do the same thing, because I know there's some variation, and I love talking about the differences based on your preferences. Let's do the front camera, and then Karla, maybe turn a little bit to the side so they can see it if you're cutting. There you go. And
There
Mark,
we
with
go.
you
I like
doing the
to
same
put my
thing.
thumb across the top, okay?
Uh-huh.
And you don't really have to push down because the handles bend.
So actually, you're getting more pressure pushing down because you're almost on top of it. So you don't realize the pressure that you're actually getting. So I just like it like this. I just like to cut. And that's how I use it.
All right. And then as well, from the side view.
And I didn't put the safety back on, Mark. Just
Oh,
warning you.
So from the side view, I have my finger over the top while these other fingers are supporting the cutter. So when I go to cut, that pressure from up the top from the palm of my hand, and I can roll that right along as well, keeping my wrist straight. I'm not bending it. So this is how I like to hold it. And this is how Karla likes to hold it. So
I do.
perfect. That's
like
perfect.
it that way. So try both ways, both methods. Once you purchase your
Yes.
TrueCut system, and see which way you want. Maybe at the end of this, we should find out.
Wonderful.
Good.
With that, I know we had a couple different people talking in about being, left-handed or right-handed. So again, just so you know, our owner is left-handed, our president is left-handed. We have several, so we're on board knowing that the cutter does need to work both ways. And again, we're excited that it works just as well, both left and right, as far as that one's concerned. With that, I also thought maybe we could go back, Mark, and I'm not sure, I know I stepped out for a quick minute. With part of the ruler, you're talking about the ergonomics on the cutter. Did you talk about the personalization? I always love talking a little bit about that and how you can make it your personal cutter. And then, how does that maybe tie into the other products like the rulers, etc.? So
Great question. And so what Nathan mentioned is true. And I always like to joke, the ergonomic is great, but really the reason why you need to buy this cutter is because you can personalize it. So when you go to your quilt guilds or you're traveling, no one's walking off with this cutter.
Right.
So let's go ahead and show them here you can see I could take this off, and then right here, I can actually put in a picture of a quilt, your grandkids, anything, a name, you
Right.
name your cutter.
Yeah, so it's not going to walk off with somebody else.
That's right. So it's quick and easy. You can personalize it. That's why it's my comfort cutter. So that's on both sides of the handle.
Right.
All right. Now that's the cutter, and we have all the sizes: our 28, our 45, and our 60.
Yeah, here's the 60. We don't have the 28 here, but
Nope,
yeah,
this
that's
is
the
what we have
60.
available. Yeah,
a
we
little
have that
bigger head.
available. All right. And let's talk about the differences real quick, maybe on the 60. I know a lot of people ask the question, why the 60 over the 45?
It's just personal preference. I really like the 45. The 60 is great, but like I said, it's just personal preference. So we have something for everyone. So if you like to use the 60 and you feel more comfortable with the larger head and the larger blade, yeah, go ahead and get the 60.
Absolutely. All right. let's look at now the ruler.
Yeah.
All right. So our rulers, and we have nine
Yes. we do.
rulers.
Mhm.
They all have, they all have these holes in them.
Mhm.
All right. These holes serve a purpose. They're just
Yes.
not for maybe a good little fly swatter action.
That's true.
But they do serve a purpose as far as the cutting. Let's go over what the holes are for.
They're to keep your fingers away, but they also help you look through the fabric and line it up directly. So you know how we can veer off from top to bottom, especially on the 8s, if you have a 7/8 inch cut or something, or 3/8. Well, it helps you line it up from this point here to the top of your ruler to keep you nice and straight, because you have these holes that allow you to see the fabric easier and better.
Absolutely. And another great thing about a ruler
Mhm.
is the way they are made.
Right.
They're injected.
Right.
We inject the plastic, right? So they're not an overlay, which
So
allows
they're
it to be
strong.
very flexible. So I like doing this if I get a good look at that right there.
I've had rulers break on me,
Even
mostly because of kids
Yes.
doing just this.
So they're very strong, but the main attraction to our ruler is the guide, or the ruler track is what I like to call it too. So on the ruler track, I'm going to come above here and see if we could get a good picture. Looks like we probably could try, but there is about a 1/4 inch tall edge to
Right.
our ruler, and what I call that the track, and it runs the length of our ruler. So from bottom to top, there's this track. Now that track is important because that brings in the accuracy
Right.
and the safety.
Right.
Right? We all have 10 fingers, and we want to
Right.
keep those 10 fingers
And it
and
does
not
make
nick on
it
them.
easy as well, because it keeps you the ease of cutting straight up without veering off.
Absolutely. So let's go ahead and show how that works. So the guide, all of our cutters, they come with this guide. Right now, this black one, as you can see, that is a guide that is going to interlock with the ruler track.
Right.
All right, I'm going to show that here.
Can you get it up there? Yeah.
All right, so
Can you
what that
see?
does, I'm going to be good.
Good.
So that blade right now is against my ruler's edge. So right with the track. And that is key to being safe and accurate as you're cutting. So as I want to cut a straight line, like Karla said, when we go up, we tend to go away and go off to no man's land.
Or push this direction against the ruler, and it
Yes.
pushes this direction.
Yeah, so now we're pushing this way and the
You
ruler
may
sliding.
start straight, but then you're veering off, and there's nothing more frustrating than pulling a piece of fabric out and sewing it, and it's like, oh, this end's fatter than the
Yes.
other end.
Yes. So we're going to make a cut. And I'm going to put it right on the track. And we're going to simply just right up the track. And we're going to see that we have a nice straight edge. I'm
And
going to do
now
one
try to
more,
veer
and then I'm
away.
going to turn over to Nathan. So I hook it right on, and right now my blade is against my ruler's edge. And I'm going to go ahead and simply go right up the track. And again, nice clean edge. Nathan.
I was just going to do a quick shout out here really quick. Just a couple people are saying, oh, it looks like you're TrueCut fans. You've had the TrueCut. Yes. Take time to go ahead and personalize those. I always joke as part of this piece, you go into a quilting event. I know those have been far and few between the last few months, and everybody pulls out their yellow cutters and they put them on the table. And then everybody's, which one's mine? And I know you have colored ribbons tied around them and they're sharpied up. One of the great things, again, is the personalization. Mark, one thing I thought that would be really good, if you wouldn't maybe pull it a little bit closer to the camera up top so they could see, again, the groove on the edge in relationship to the cutter itself, and maybe put that cutter on that edge so they can see how those two interact and how they stay together. So go ahead and grab that cutter as well and put it on that edge and run it up and forth so they can kind of see how that, maybe even up a little bit higher, closer to there. There you go.
That's it.
There you go. There's an edge. And now take it off so they can see the edge a little bit, and then go ahead and put it back on. So there's an edge, rides along that, and then kind of pull it out. Show them how it hooks in when you go to pull it. See how it hooks on that ruler? I just thought that would be another great thing to really show them that those two are tied together. Again, one of the things I love to talk about is, usually when we're demonstrating these, we find that people start putting themselves and others in buckets. Oh, that would be great for a first-time quilter. Oh, that'd be great. I know that, I have a friend that her arm is a little less stable and it's harder for her to hold a straight line. Everybody goes like, wait a minute. I know that I've veered. I know that I've, shifted my fabrics over. And so they start putting out that really every single quilter out there, if you cut fabrics, which by statistics is one of the least favorite things they do. You love choosing fabrics, you love choosing patterns. Cutting those could be a little bit tedious. And again, making that process as easy, as safe, and as accurate as possible is one of those really important things to again reemphasize. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the time back over to you. I just wanted to bring those couple things out and make sure we can get that on camera for everybody. So
with the easy and the safety of it, I'm being serious about this, and I wonder how many people will chime in. How many of your quilters already nicked your finger?
Oh, I have.
Right? Luckily, I haven't. I'm a professional. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not a professional. But I'm curious to know, because there are a lot of quilters who, when they cut, they want to make sure, they want to keep that blade so tight against the ruler's edge that potentially they can come up and they slip over the top. And that's when we start nicking our fingers. We get blood everywhere. It's just not safe. So having that guide and ruler track definitely keeps you going straight, and you will not jump track.
Right, and you don't have to have as much pressure either. So it's going to help just overall the ease of it. You're going to find it makes it simpler and just easier for you as you're cutting. So just put it up against there and then
go. And Shirley, thank you. Shirley bought it at the Hampton show.
Oh, nice.
Thank you for owning it. I appreciate that. And she mentions on there that she never used to cut straight, and that helps. So yeah, thank you, Shirley. Okay, so now we have our tracking guide system, and this works across the board with all of our products.
With all of them. Even the straight cutter, you see the little small one, it comes with a larger guide to work with the track. So
yes, and part of not only nicking your fingers, we had a comment on there that you do nick your rulers, right? You hold your blade so tight against there because you don't want to go up to no man's land. So you hold it up, and your rulers are
and then it'll jump on you when you start nicking your rulers. So this keeps that away.
Yeah, so this solves not only nicking your fingers, nicking your rulers, cutting off to no man's land, but now you are truly staying accurate, and you're being safe.
Right.
All right, so let's move on. So from our cutters to our rulers, we also have other accessories that we can do.
Yeah, let's talk about.
Yeah, but first we talk about these.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and bring Nathan in.
Great, thanks. I thought really quick, I wanted just to throw this, and I would employ everybody that's watching this to think through this very carefully. Now, I know we have a lot of TrueCut users, and I've had this happen more times than you would probably know when we've had a chance to demonstrate this product like you're kind of seeing today. I had a customer walking by, and I'm like, oh, you've got, these amazing TrueCut. And they're like, yeah, I've got a cutter. I said, oh, I'm pretty sure you do. And I always tease. I was like, oh, well, you don't want to talk to me. They're like, what are you talking about? Like, why is that? I'm like, oh, there's a few out there that are, claiming to have some ergonomics, and some do. And she kind of came up and she started looking at the design. And one of the key things, just before we move, Mark, from the rulers and Karla, these cutters, to some of the other products, one of the design elements, now I know this because I actually designed part of the My Comfort cutter. And as we look through this, what we found is a lot of quilters, if you think about how many years you've been cutting, you might be a new cutter, but you're probably into this a few years. And some of you have had this as a passion, as a lifetime. Your muscle memory is there, and you're really trying to decide, how comfortable you are with your muscles in cutting. And what you don't want to do is have to relearn. And we have a lot of people telling us, why am I going to have to relearn? There's a slight bit that's a little bit different. But what we've really done is, Mark, maybe I'm going to have you show that picture one more time from the top camera. It's a straight handle. So the blade is located. Let's put those two next to each other. And you'll notice that they're really straight. And then turn it up so we can see going from the handle down, how the blades are directly underneath them. So that way you actually are cutting very similar to what you've done with most straight cutters. And so I had this customer come up, she started cutting, and she's like, oh, you're right. Her cutter was causing her hand to go down to the side because the handle was on the side versus straight in front. And then we always find that the pressure points that we start to end up with fatigue, like they talked about, continue to happen. So people, when they start using this, find that, again, like Mark, you're talking about, there was the more power. We're finding that it's less effort, there's less fatigue. And again, I just love talking about that because we kind of are in our world of comfort with our tools. And our goal was to come out with these tools that really solved a lot of these problems. When we started asking Quilter, what are some of your biggest challenges? Well, slipping and sliding in my hands and fatigue in my arms. And, I'm getting the pressure. And obviously we talked before, one of the giveaways was the blade sharpener, and we'll talk more about that. But again, as the TrueCut line continues to evolve, and as you see these other products, you'll understand that not only do they work fantastic individually, but as a system, they really make the cutting process a lot more durable, enjoyable. You can do that for longer periods of time, which means you can do more quilting, which you ultimately love to do. So we'll go ahead and turn that back over to you and Mark, you and Karla. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you for that. And I hear those stories all the time too.
Right.
That I can't keep cutting because it hurts and I have to stop. And then it's a passion you love doing, and you have to stop cutting because you can't cut as long.
Right.
And it does get a little tiring and fatigue on there. Okay, so True Grips. True Grips, now I'm curious because, again, we mentioned TrueCut, and most of you guys probably heard of it, but I would bet everybody's probably heard of our True Grips at one point, right? Or they either own their True Grips. Let's explain what True Grips are and what they do.
Well, they keep your rulers from sliding and slipping on your mats and on your fabric. So they grip it so that you can get that nice straight cut. And they work very, very well.
What's nice about these two, Karla, is they're clear.
Right.
They're clear so you can see through your ruler onto your fabric. It doesn't damage your fabric. It doesn't raise a ruler up. I know a lot of people, when they think of something underneath your ruler, is it raises your ruler off the fabric. These are so thin and so perfect that they are the perfect combination for your ruler. And like I said, almost everybody owns these True Grips to go on the back of the ruler. Now we have some on the back of ours.
Right.
And they come 30 into a pack, 30 big and 30 small. Let me take one of those, Karla. Let me take one of those.
Hang on, that kind of came off.
That's okay. I want to have one here.
Here's one.
Yep. So these are what they are. I'm going to come up. It's like a little contact. So there they are, and it's perfect.
And the little small dot right there are the small.
Okay, you can see how thin that is. So that goes on the back of any ruler, and it actually, you can use it for other purposes as well.
Right, use the whole thing. Cut up these little sections in between. Use those. Don't let any of this go to waste.
Absolutely. Okay, so when they go on the back of the ruler and they simply attach, like I said, we already have some on this ruler, but it does keep your ruler from sliding. So I'm going to put this down.
Okay.
Going back to my cutter, we're going to talk about again what that track does. Now, without the track, you need to walk up your ruler, right? Especially when you get to the top of the ruler here from cutting the bottom. If I press against the ruler, you're going to see the ruler slide. And so I have to keep that, so I walk it up. Two things happen with our comfort cutter, with the track and guide and the True Grips. One is because my guide is directly on top of the ruler, you notice that my ruler, it wants to go to the left.
Nope.
Right? Now, when I put the pressure down, knowing that when I'm not putting pressure up against it, I can simply be safe with my offhand off to the side here, so I will not worry about nicking myself. And you won't do that anyway with this track and guide system. But with the True Grips, and when I'm cutting, it's simply, when you go up, you're going to make those nice clean cuts. And you can notice when I'm holding it down here, not putting a lot of pressure on. And I keep going back to it. We talk about
so you're not stretching.
You're not stretching. The fatigue and pain in your arm from cutting. Now you have your offhand holding the ruler down. This is truly a safer product to use. Okay. All right. So with the True Grips, anything else you want to add on the True Grips?
No, they're really important. So don't just use them for your rulers. Use them for any ruler. Your quilting rulers everywhere. So just try them out. They are awesome, and you'll love them.
Absolutely. Okay. So now we talked about how we can keep all 10 digits. Right? No nicks.
Right.
Keep your fabric nice and straight. You're not going off. Okay. All that stuff is fantastic. Let's look at why we want to keep our blades sharp.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Now, self-healing mats.
Right.
Okay. Self-healing mats, that's what everybody says, self-healing mats. And they truly can last a long time, right? When they cut.
Hold it up.
But when we cut with a dull blade, we tend to ruin the mat faster. Now, how many of you users or the viewers right now have came across a dull blade, but you're finishing a project and you just didn't have time, or you didn't want to go to the store, so you keep powering through? I'm curious to know, because I would bet all of us have probably been there, where you have a dull blade and we're powering through. Well, that does many things. First of all, you now feel like you need to get above. So when I'm cutting, I feel like if you want to go to the front view here, Brian, feel like you want to lift your shoulder because you want to get more pressure, and you're just diving in. And then sooner or later, our mats can feel that.
Right.
And just potential for damage and injury. So let's talk about our mats. Our mats are fantastic because, first of all, they're two-sided.
Yes.
They're 5-ply. And they have wonderful, easy lines to do your bias cutting, your straight cutting, numbers on the outside. And that's always a plus, because we always like to put our fabric all the way up to the end. And it's nice to have the numbers showing so we can see exactly where we're at. And with it being double-sided, you're getting basically 2 mats for the price of 1.
It's going to stand the test of time.
It's very, very nice. With that, let's go ahead and go to Nathan.
All right. Hey, thanks, guys. I wanted to quickly come back, welcome anybody else who's had a chance to join us. I thought maybe really quickly, Mark, I would go back through, knowing that we're talking as part of the TrueCut. One of the things that we're doing, I'll just bring this back up online. Next week, we're doing a giveaway. For those people that are registering for our Fantastic Fall Festival, we will be giving away the True Sharp 2, a 5-pack of blades that go along with our My Comfort Cutter. We had a chance, and Karla and Mark were great in demonstrating that My Comfort Cutter, that ergonomic cutter. The blade, I had one question kind of come up, wanting to see in action. We don't have it plugged in, but it does run on a power supply that is provided. It does work with diamond honing stones, and I love, we'll talk a little bit more about that again, but those are part of the gifts that we're going to be giving away. So I'm going to quickly move over to the Fantastic Fall Festival again. We're going to encourage you to register at graceframe.com. There at the top, we have a banner that lets you go into the Fantastic Fall Festival and enter your name. We're, again, doing many, many, many prizes here through the next few weeks, ultimately leading to the show that goes live, that streams on every Tuesday starting October 20th through the 3rd of November. And then we actually will have a last streaming session on November 6th, my birthday, just so you know. Thought I'd throw that out there. Woo, all right, side one. And then we were talking, and we had we're also doing a virtual quilt show, and we're encouraging people to enter quilts. And so I wanted to briefly mention that. One question came up, just so everybody knows, is there a way to enter multiple? And I believe that they went in to enter a second one, cannot, but I do believe the whole goal is for you to enter all the quilts that you would like to. So we're going to make sure that is possible. So check back on that. You should be able to enter multiple quilts in multiple categories. I just have on the screen again several of those categories. The Hall of Shame, I love that one, kind of as a quick fun thing. Unfinished projects or something that you're wishing maybe you would ever get to. Made from scraps, the holiday quilts. We've got the surprise oops, don't turn it away. What was the unexpected? Blood, Sweat, and Tears, Wild Imagination. And so there's a whole bunch of things with anything else that we are encouraging people to participate with. So again, just wanting to bring that back up, we would encourage you to register for the Fantastic Fall Festival. We have panels, we have classes. Those that are familiar with Grace Company might know our automated system. We have international visitors, local visitors, classes on automation, keynote people. And again, look forward for more information. We'll continue to send those that are registered as that information becomes available here over the next couple of weeks. You're going to continue to receive more and more information for that. So again, thanks everybody for participating in that. I want to go ahead and with that, Mark and Karla, maybe go back and you can move into a couple last things. I know we're probably at about 15 minutes left just for everybody because everybody's time is valuable. Thank you everybody for joining us, but let's turn some time back over to Karla and Mark. So thanks.
Yeah, well, I saw also a couple questions real quick before we go on the blade sharpeners. On the mats, one of the questions I saw was, do they come in a larger size? So they come in the 3 major sizes that people get: 24 by 36, 18 by 24, and 12 by 18. And as far as keeping them, one thing I want to also mention is you notice on this mat, we can slide it. Right. This mat, we cannot slide it. going back to this entire system, it just amazes me on how truly safe and accurate this system can be. We have underneath the mat another non-slip pad.
Right.
So that non-slip pad underneath the mat keeps it from sliding. And so from start to finish, you're going to feel your cutting experience. You're going to enjoy it, and it's going to be
right. It was
it's gonna
really
be nice.
engineered to keep you from purchasing any more problem tools. So yeah, these are going to eliminate several of those problems that you run into as when you're cutting.
Absolutely. All right. So let's get into the sharpeners.
Okay.
Do they work?
Yes.
Is a question we get all the time. Do they work? And will they work with my blade?
We wouldn't be selling them, honestly, because we're the Grace Company, if they did not work. I would not allow it, but they
Yes.
do work.
That's right. So let's talk about, we have two sharpeners. I'm going to hold them up here. And we have our linear sharpener and our manual sharpener. Sorry, our
This is a
electric
manual.
sharpener and our manual sharpener, which is also linear.
Yes.
So linear and you do a manual work on that. The reason why it's manual is you do the work yourself on the
Right.
sharpening. Okay. Now let's go back to my question. Does it work?
Yes, it does.
There is a main ingredient in the sharpener on why it works.
Right. Our diamond stones.
Our diamond stones.
Fine grit diamond stones. 'Cause
Exactly.
We've done a lot of changing with the stones time, but it's a fine grit that gives you a nice edge.
Yes. And our electric sharpener comes with two.
Right.
One at the bottom. Let's get the top. Yeah, one at the bottom and one on the lid. And what this does is sharpen your blade both sides
Right.
at once.
Right.
Now, with this, there are instructions on here. It comes with good instructions. We also have other videos on how to use this, so we will not actually demonstrate
Nope.
this, but just a quick guide on
Right.
it. You put your blade in. It has a pop-up here. Come on the side here. So we can pop the blade up when we're done, and it comes with tweezers so we can grab the blade out. Again, very safe. We put the blade in. There are 3 markings on here for your 28, your
Right.
45, and your 60. Pop it right on the bottom there. You shut the lid, lock it in place, and this is electric, so you plug it in the wall, and you simply just press this button on the back. That's it.
Yeah.
Right? You press the button, and I do recommend flipping the blade over.
Right.
We all don't cut straight up and down, and potentially one side could be getting worn more than the other
Right.
side, so I recommend flipping. This is a fantastic product for all you quilters who've kept blades, because that's a lot of money, and we also sell blades too. So
Our blades are fantastic. If you haven't purchased them, you need to order some. They're
Yes.
awesome.
So we sell blades, but we know, again, going back to what I mentioned earlier, we know that the quilters, you guys don't go to the store right away
Right.
when your blade is dull. You keep pushing through it, which could potentially be hazardous, and you
Right.
can make mistakes. So great electric sharpener. Now we have our manual sharpener. Let's
Right.
talk about the manual sharpener.
Well, this is my mom, Grace's invention. She wanted a way to sharpen the blades so you could keep quilting, and it's just done manually. So you'll just slide it through. Now, you should only do it when the blade is dull, okay? So if it's still sharp, do not try and sharpen
Never sharpen
it.
it.
Yeah, so you just run it through, and you don't have to take the blade out. You just run it through, and then you're going to turn it and run it through so that the stone sharpens the other side as well. And that's all there is to it. And it really works. It'll keep you cutting for a long time.
Yes. What I also like about this is you can keep it on your cutting table,
Right.
right? So if you're going places and you're doing a lot of cutting, you can go straight from sharpening to cutting. So if you are cutting your fabric and you notice that you're getting skipped
Right.
cuts or you have to press really hard, you can simply put that in there, like Karla said, and when you go back and forth and you rotate over, so now I can go from sharpening to cutting,
Right.
sharpening to cutting, and that process is quick and easy, and then
Right.
you'll always have a sharp blade.
And I use it all the time because I cut a lot.
Yes. And a good question popped up from Shirley. How many times can you sharpen your blades? And we get that question a lot. And
All
unfortunately,
subjective.
yes, exactly. Because Shirley, if you have one or any of the customers have one, if you're doing a lot of cutting, which means you're going to sharpen your blade a
Right.
lot more. And your blade will actually,
It kind of wears.
it kind of wears. So it will indicate to you on when the time is up to get rid of it. You'll get more flat spots So you notice that your blade will be skipping a lot more
Right.
because of these flat spots. So really, like you said, it's subjective.
Time to throw it out when it
Yes.
starts getting too many flat spots and you can't sharpen it any longer. So,
Exactly. So the more you cut, just more you know you got to sharpen.
Right.
If you don't cut as often, you're going to sharpen a little less. So you're going to be able to use the blade a little longer than the next person.
Right.
So it's really, but it does keep it, I would say at least a month or longer
Right.
on a blade is on
which
average.
is a long time.
Mhm. Exactly. All right, let's go back over to Nathan.
All right, thanks, Mark. I thought maybe there could be, I just wanted to kind of bring up another question following that. I know that we have both the manual and the electric. I know that we do sell significantly, a preference is the electric. I would say, and maybe you guys can confirm this again, I know it's been the case for myself, is I like to say it does most of the work instead of manually moving it, but the electric sharpener is one that does the spinning for us. So maybe I think we're going to probably share a little bit more, but why would I do the electric versus the manual? And I ultimately know sometimes people would do both, but if I were going to choose one, what do we find most people choose and why would they choose that maybe?
Great question, Nathan. I will say, and Nathan's absolutely right. Now, the reason why the electric sharpener is preferred, one, like Nathan mentioned, it does it for you. As we get older, either we don't have the pressure, or we can't really go back and forth in there, because you do need to keep the blade nice and straight in the linear sharpener. You got to keep it nice, and if you don't, you're not going to get the proper sharpen, right? With the electric, that throws really that out the window. You simply, when you put the blade in, there's notches down there, like I'd mentioned before, and those notches keep the blade nice and secure. And when you put it in, all I need to do is press a button, and that's easy. I can do that. That's why this is preferred most, because it really takes the maybe human side of sharpening the blade, if you will, out of the equation and let the sharpener do its job just by pressing the button. And then to Nathan's point, a lot of people do buy both because if they're doing a lot of cutting, they can keep it there.
Right.
And if you've a lot of quilters kept some blades, and that's a perfect way to resharpen and bring those blades back. Now, they won't bring them back to a factory sharp, but they'll bring them back to a near factory sharp. So if you kept your blades, perfect. You have 10 blades kept. Well, how much money is 10 blades worth? Well,
it's a lot of money.
And let's say you bring back 8 of those 10. Well, that's perfect.
At least $60, ladies.
Yes. So that's why I know people pick the electric sharpener or the linear sharpener. But again, both do a great job.
Oh, yeah.
So thanks for that question, Nathan. Let's go back to you.
One thing I would like to pose out there, and I know, Mark, you don't have these numbers and Karla in your head, but I do know that with the Fantastic Fall Festival, if I'm not mistaken, I know we're looking at a couple TrueCut promotions as well. Maybe, I know that we don't have a whole lot of details about that, but I would say if you're not a subscriber to our newsletter, please make sure to do it. I would love to tell you that we're very careful with the names, the people that are willing to give us those names. We use them hopefully for really key information and items, like we do note our live presentations like this. Also, if there is a promotion, if there's a new product launch, we try to be specific as to and respect your names. Where I'm going is sign up for the newsletter, because you'll find that when the promotions come up, or if there is a special, a discount on TrueCut, if it's by chance thread, if the thread's on a promotion, or for example, this month we have a couple things that are ending here tomorrow with regarding some frame pricing and some machines. But again, go ahead, maybe Mark and Karla, share what little information you might be able to share with us on the upcoming specials.
Well, they're going to be heavily discounted.
Yes.
They're going to be package deals. We have a like quilter's combo that's perfect for the quilter.
What is the quilter's combo, Mark? What does that come with? And that is a perfect starting step, but what is that?
Yeah, great question. So we're going to put it together here. It is our 6.5 by 24.5 ruler, the common size ruler,
grips,
the true grips, and the comfort cutter. So this is a quilter's combo. So it comes with the 45 comfort cutter, which is most common. Right. The 6.5 by 24.5 ruler, which is most common, and the true grips, which everybody loves. Right. Okay. Right. So just keep watch all of our product for the Fall Festival. They're going to be at killer prices, and that would be the perfect time
Well,
to get this package.
we don't get to go to Houston, so we're bringing Houston to you online and
Yes.
virtually, and we're very excited about it. And so take advantage, sign up for the newsletter, and just take a look over the website so you can dream and pick and choose and sign up, and maybe you'll be the winner, but maybe you'll take advantage of the great pricing and the great deals that we're going to have.
Absolutely. All right, Karla, we are ending our time with TrueCut.
Right. Show the
Okay.
circle
I
cutter.
am. I'm just saying we are getting close.
Okay.
We are getting close to all the TrueCut, but there's another item that we want to do.
Yes, you can use the ruler with any cutter, because you can take the guide to use with our rulers. I mean, the cutter with any ruler. You can take the guide off and use it without the guide,
Yes.
with any other ruler.
Great questions. All right, so let's go to circle cutter. Now, circle cutting in general can be a little
It's tough.
challenging. It's tough unless you have the right tool. So I'm going to show you our circle cutter. I'm going to quickly show you on the top view here. See how wide the base is. All right, that is really key on keeping the fabric nice and flat, so it won't bunch up. Most circle cutters, when you cut, it might want to bunch or move. With the wide base, it keeps everything flat, which will not happen. So let's go ahead and make a circle cut, let's cut a circle out.
Yeah.
Now this will cut from 2 to 12 inches. It has a blade underneath this blue knob. I'm going to go ahead and open up here.
And if you
And just
purchase
show
it, you can buy a new blade.
So there it is, the blade right there. All right, so I'm going to shut that. Now this centerpiece that says TrueCut 360 on it, that is where the pin is to keep it in center. All right, so we're going to make a cut here. Now, as you notice when I cut, I'm going to cross my hands. I'm going to bring my strong hand over on top of the blade while my off hand is underneath the pin. So that way I can keep constant pressure down on that blade. All right, and as I go around and make that cut, it is simple, easy, and you can do 4 layers with the circle cutter. Okay, so it's perfect amount. So perfect for denim and just your standard fabric. And so that was quick and easy. And I'll tell you what, if it was that easy cutting the circles, and if you like to cut circles, then that is the item you need to get. All right. All right, Karla, bringing us back around. What other items we have? We have a...
Oh, well, we just had the cartridge for the
blades.
circle cutter. And then I just wanted to show you these amazing triangle rulers. I love them. And they are so versatile. You can you can cut out many different designs. We have the kite ruler, and we have the 60-degree triangle and the 90 right triangle. And they all have the nice little track on them, so it'll keep you easy, safe, and accurate.
There you go. Wonderful. All right. With that, let's head over to Nathan again.
Okay.
Well, wonderful. There we go. Hopefully everybody can hear me coming back in there again. So Mark and Karla, thank you very much. We appreciate you helping demonstrate all those different TrueCut products. I love, Karla, you know, as you were talking about those triangles at the very end, and one of the things you mentioned is that edge. You know, our goal is to produce a product line of cutting tools that does enhance and make it, again, easier, safer, and more accurate. And that really is one of the key goals that we have. And we find that when customers have a chance to utilize these products, those are the comments we get back. We've had stories because of the ergonomics and the design where people literally haven't been able to cut because of some of the challenges with their muscles, or it could be arthritis or some of the pains. And now they're telling us stories that they've been able to go back to what they love most is quilting. And so again, we hear stories from all walks of life throughout the world. This brand, Grace Company, we really try to bring this to the different corners. We have distributors in a lot of the countries as well. So we would ask you and look to say, go find a local dealer on any of the products that we have. Feel free to give us a call if you have questions with that. One last thing I just wanted to go back to as we conclude and as we're wrapping up, I wanted to bring back up on our screen the registration for the Fantastic Fall Festival. I'd like to encourage everybody to, again, visit graceframe.com. That's www.graceframe.com and look at the registration. And then also we're going to encourage you, again, if you're in a position where you've done some of the quilts and you love your quilts, let me go ahead and bring this back up online here, where we're going to encourage you to submit your quilts and share those with the world, as there are prizes for several different categories out there where you can again, everybody really would have a chance to participate. And again, be looking for some additional emails. I know next week we're going to be giving away a few different products. We're giving away another electric sharpener, the My Comfort Cutter, and you're going to see again, we're going to continuously add to the different giveaways that we have as we get closer to our fantastic fall festival. So what I'd like to say from all of us here at Grace Company, with Karla and Mark, thank you for all your time and all your initiatives and efforts, and we would love to say thanks for joining us, and we look forward to having you join us again in the near future. So thank you again from the Grace
Thank
Company.
you. See ya.